Hi everybody, so today we're going to talk about the conversion of units, and we're going to start with miles per inches. So if I were to convert mile to inches, what I want to do is to convert miles to feet and then convert that to inches afterwards. And how do I do that? So I'm going to write one mile. What I want to do with 1 mile is to get rid of mile, and I'm going to turn it into feet. In order to have feet as my answer, I have to make sure I divide by mile, so I get rid of mile, and multiply by feet, so I'm going to end up with feet. How do I do that? So when I multiply these two together, these two will cancel, and the answer will have a unit in feet. And then I write the relationship between miles and feet, and I know that 1 mile equals to 50 to 80 feet. Then I will know that if I want to get rid of feet, I will have to write it in the bottom, and I want to convert it into inches, so I will have to have inches on top. And the relationship between feet, 1 foot basically here, because we only have 1, and inches is 12. So every foot is 12 inches. Now what's going to happen is that feet and foot are going to cancel, and my final answer is going to have a unit in inches, which is exactly what I planned for. And when I put in my calculator 50 to 80 multiplied by 12, I will have my answer as 63,360. So that's one. Now let's move on to the next example. We're trying to convert millimeters to kilometers. And right here, I have, for an example to make this easier, let's say we have 10,000 millimeters, that we want to know what it is in kilometers. So same thing, I'm going to write what I'm starting with. So 10,000 millimeters multiplied by a fraction. Now, what do I want to get rid of? Millimeters, so I'm going to write it in the bottom. What I want to end up with, I want to first turn millimeters, because I know millimeters to centimeters. Then I can turn it into meters. Then I can convert it to kilometers finally. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to write a relationship between millimeters and centimeters, because that's the most basic one that I know. And I know the relationship between them is 1 centimeter is 10 millimeters, so that's easy. So then I'm going to have a centimeter for my answer. And then I'm going to get rid of centimeter, so I'm going to write it in the bottom. I want to turn it into meter, and the relationship between them is 1 and 100. Then I want to get rid of meter here, so I'm going to write it in the bottom again. I want to end up as my final answer with a kilometer. So I'm going to write that on top, and I know that 1 kilometer is 100 meters. Oh, sorry, 1,000 meters. So I know that 1 kilometer is 1,000 meters. Then once I multiply all of these together, so I will have, if I'm actually taking 0 and 0 here, 2 of the zeros are going to cancel out 2 of the zeros, and then 10 divided by 1,000, I will have 0.01 kilometers. Good. So for the next example, I'm going to move on to kilometers per hour. So for this section, I'm going to have to convert 12 kilometers per hour to meters per second. So how do I do that? Now, what I have right here is, what I'm starting with is 12 kilometers per 1 hour. So what I want to get rid of is that kilometers wants to be converted to meters, and then 1 hour wants to convert into seconds. So 1 hour turns into minute and then to second. All right, so the first thing is I want to get rid of the kilometers. So what I know is that what I want to get rid of is in the bottom. So 1 kilometer is 1,000 meters. So right away I have my meters. And then what I want to do is that I want to get rid of the hour. So what I want to get rid of because the hour is here, I'm going to get rid of it, so I'm going to write it on top. So it has to be the opposite of where my unit is. So if the 1 hour is in the bottom, I want to write it on top so they will cancel out. Right? And what I have here right now is 1 hour, and I want to turn it into second, or you can turn it into minute first if you want, if you don't know how many seconds are in an hour. So I can turn it into minute. So 1 hour is 60 minutes. And then once I have my units in minute, I want to turn that into seconds. So what I'm going to write is that I'm going to, because minute is in the bottom, I want to get rid of it. I'm going to write it on top, so the opposite of where it is. And then the minute is turning into seconds, so second goes in the bottom. And 1 minute equals to 60 seconds. And that is my final term. So what's going to happen here is that I'm going to cancel out kilometers by kilometers, minute by minute, and hour over here by hour. So if I multiply 12 by 1,000, then divided by 60 and divided by 60 one more time, I will have 3.33 meters per second. So 12 kilometers per hour is equal to 3.33 meters per second.